Hi, I'm Kristin Davis, and I want to know, are you a Charlotte? Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Are You a Charlotte? How's it going? I am here today with producer Easton.
Hi, thanks for having me back. Wow.
Oh, I mean, look, you're here all the time, as I know, but I'm really happy to have you on camera with me and or on the mic, whichever way you guys are what do you call it?
Consuming,
Consuming,
watching,
thank you,
listening,
thank you.
enjoying.
Yeah, thank you. Already such a huge help. Thank you. So today we are rewatching episode 207 of Sex and the City. It's called The Chicken Dance. This is kind of a famous episode.
Yes, an iconic episode.
People talk a lot about this episode, and it's been very interesting to rewatch it because it is very, very different than what I remember, like very different. But I will share my memories in a second. But also I wanted to update you guys on something. When Chloe Mall was on last week, we were talking about some fashion. She is the editor of Vogue.com. And one of the things that I can't honestly remember if we got to it or not, but one of the things that we were going to talk about at least was Sarah Jessica Carrie re-wearing a kind of vintage Chanel blouse that she wore in the first show, Sex and the City, and then she wore it and just like that. And there's been a lot of, conjecture. Is it the same blouse? Is it not the same blouse? Was she wearing it front ways and then she wore it back ways? Did the colors fade over time? Many questions out there in the world, which is so adorable that people pay attention. But I get it because obviously Carrie has incredible style and incredible wardrobe. So I texted Sarah last week and I said, hey, did you get this out of the storage? She has, Sarah Jessica keeps everything very incredibly, impeccably stored. Everything is cataloged. It's like a very impressive storage situation that I could never live up to. I said, did you go into your storage to get out the Chanel blouse? And she said, no, she did not, but Molly had found it. So then at the time that I asked Molly last week, she was in a fitting with Anne Hathaway for Devil Wears Prada 2. So I felt really bad. I know, but I was like, where did you get that Chanel vintage blouse? And she was like, get right back to you, babe. Because, she is. And so she did. She got back to me after we had recorded last week's episode. And she told me, and I love this story so much because it just goes to show kind of the level of attention and care that Molly puts into her job, her work, and how great she is. So there was a vintage store called Nomad Vintage in New York, and they were having a sale of Karen Elson, who is a really beautiful, incredible, famous model, red hair. If you ever saw her picture, you would know exactly who I'm talking about. She was selling some of her vintage clothes at Nomad Vintage. And I guess they sent Molly some pictures of the clothes. And in the bottom of a suitcase, these are Molly's words, she saw this Chanel top that she recognized from Sex and the City, 20 years ago or whatever, 25 years ago. So it is not, in fact, the same top. I do think it's a different colorway. And it was Karen Elson's. I do think Sarah wears it backwards. But it was Karen Elson's top, probably from the same year that Carrie wore it on the original Sex and the City, and now it was reborn on And Just Like That, which is a really cool story.
That's like more magical than if it had been the same blouse.
100%. No, that is 100% true. And also, I think, and I don't know for sure, it's possible that both were samples because they only make things sometimes for the runway, right?
Oh, yeah.
And because they lend things to us, which is so wonderful, Sarah Jessica might not even have it in storage. She didn't go look because she's too busy, but it might be, that Karen had a sample and Carrie got a sample. Carrie might have returned hers. Sarah Jessica might have returned the sample. So it's all really interesting, but kind of just amazing that Molly found it.
Yeah.
And this is why we love Molly. There's no one like Molly and Danny. And I just love it when they get, credit for their incredible creativity. And I don't know, have you seen the little shorts that they're doing about costumes behind the scenes?
I have not seen those yet.
They're fun.
Oh my God, I gotta watch.
They're really fun. I think they're on social media and maybe they come on after the show on guess what? We get to call it HBO, you guys.
Oh, yes.
It's so exciting. As of this week, your apps are going to change back to say HBO Max, I believe. I could get that wrong, but I think it's HBO Max.
All right.
I know HBO is in the title again and on your little app on your iPad or whatever you're watching on, that's what I watch on. But very exciting, very exciting. And I should have worn my hat today. I got an HBO Max hat that I wore at the French Open when we were doing all of our funny little spots for HBO about it, which I think they're being really hysterical about it.
Yeah.
And obviously,
great sense of humor about this.
Right?
Yeah.
And we love it. We love it. We couldn't be more happy. People are like, are you happy? I'm like, no joke, we're happy. Are you kidding? Like it was so painful to have to not say HBO. Like it's so strange. So we obviously love HBO and we're very happy.
Oh, yeah.
Very happy.
It's not TV, it's HBO.
I know. And then wait, did you see Noah Wiley? He did a really funny little spot for The Pit where he's like, and it's not TV, but maybe it is TV. But no, actually, it's not actually really TV anymore. Like, it's pretty funny because, what is it now? It's streaming.
Yeah.
But that's like a weird thing to say.
It is.
Right? Like, what are we supposed to say?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, streaming does feel weird.
Right?
But I don't know. There's got to be another word.
Right. I mean, whatever it is, let's just call it HBO.
It's HBO.
Okay, great. All right. Now, here we go to the episode.
Okay.
So now, Easton, tell me, you've been producing my podcast since the beginning, which is a joy. You're incredible. Sarah Jessica's a big fan.
Wow.
And Easton was not supposed to be talking to me today. We had a wonderful guest who got sick, and I'm hoping he will recover soon and be on soon. And we love him. We're very excited to have him. But Easton's filling in. So I appreciate that so much. But this is what I want to say. I think one of the reasons that I wanted to do the podcast, and that one of the things I love about the podcast is that, almost everyone that we know has seen the show at some point, or at least some of the show, right? So for me, because I hadn't rewatched it since we made it, way back, I have memories about filming it, and I have vague memories about that episode. Like, for instance, this chicken dance episode, I have vague memories of the thematics of it. I have a lot of memories of the filming of it. But when I rewatch it, it's so different than what I remember. And that's what I love about it is that, the show has seeped into the consciousness kind of, our generation. Certainly, I mean, I'm older than you, but, it's in your consciousness, though you might not remember the details, but I don't mind that. I think that's what's interesting, right?
Yes, absolutely.
When I got here, you quoted a line from it.
Yes.
You have a line in your mind. Tell us.
It's a deja.
Yeah. So today, just so you know, I have a lot of memories about this episode, of filming this episode. This episode is kind of up there in the pantheon of very, very difficult episodes to film.
Interesting.
Yes. And when I rewatched it, you don't really see that on camera. Yeah. And I do remember that around this time of the second season, we would be working literally all night. Like, there is a 24-hour day in this episode. 24 hours straight of filming.
My God.
I will get to that. But it was the time when I remember thinking, like, because here we are, trying to look glamorous, trying to wear these glamorous clothes and have our makeup and our hair just perfect. But it's, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., where we've been working since 7 a.m. the day before. And I remember just thinking there should just be a little cryon against the bottom of the screen. Please forgive these actors. They have been up for 24 hours. But you can't do that, right?
Yeah.
And back in the day, we always felt like we didn't want to complain or talk about that kind of stuff too much. So we didn't. So when everyone was like, isn't it fun? We'd be like, yes, it's so fun. But really, we were just like delirious,
That's something, whenever I watch a movie or TV show that takes place at night, especially, I have to remind myself, I'm like, it's probably like 3 a.m. at this point.
Yeah.
They've been going all night, all day.
Oh, if you've got the night shoots, it's rough. It's rough. And for us, so basically this episode, largely, this is about lovely Carrie Preston comes on, and she's going to be a guest. Hopefully, you guys, I love her so much. And she plays this character, Madeline Dunn. We're going to go in order. She is Miranda's interior designer because Miranda has bought an apartment, which is so impressive and exciting. And she ends up getting married in the episode. And it's very funny in how it happens. And her wedding takes place at the Plaza. And the funny thing about the Plaza, it's a very, very famous hotel in New York City, right on the edge of Central Park South. We just did our junket there And Just Like That. And it looks so different now that when I first started watching the chicken dance, I thought, wait. This must not be the one that's at the Plaza because it looks so small. It looks small and like super old fashioned. Yeah. I thought like I must be thinking of a different episode that happened at the Plaza. But then luckily they do say we're in the Plaza and then we show a room and it looks more familiar. But I mean, they've really redone it and it looks way posh now. So it was kind of funny it looks very 80s.
Oh, yeah. And this episode is just a few years after Home Alone 2, which was big Plaza.
Oh
movie,
my God, yes.
Yeah. So
I bet it's identical. We should look at that. Oh my God, I forgot. That's crazy. That's crazy to think about.
Big couple years for the Plaza.
Big couple years for the Plaza. They had their PR people working hardcore.
Yeah.
I think for us, it was a very big deal to get that location because
Yeah.
it's only our second season. I don't think we had a ton of money. So I think that the Plaza must have been, giving incentives to come and film there, and good for them. Okay, we're going to go in order now. This is so cute and funny. There's so many funny things about this. This episode is directed by Victoria Hochberg and written by Cindy Shupak, who ends up being one of our executive producers. Incredible writer. She was with us from this point in the second episode through the end of the show. She's going to come on. I can't wait. We love her so much. Cindy. This is her first one, The Chicken Dance. And we've got the incredible Carrie Preston in it, who is so great and has been on so many things, which when I think of Carrie Preston, I really think of True Blood.
Yes.
And that was so much fun to watch. Also on HBO, not that long after us, possibly overlapped us. I can't remember, but like she's such a great actress and so funny. And she's so herself when I watch this. Like it's so like what we love about Carrie Preston. She's so beautifully cast as Charlotte's friend, I might add, though literally I do not think that we talk the entire episode, which is weird. But they say like the voiceover, I believe says, Miranda has hired Charlotte's friend, Madeline, to decorate her apartment, and she has some questionable things she brings in. She brings in these dancing frogs.
Yeah.
Very questionable statue. Sorry if anyone has it out there. But it's big. And I have to say, I feel like I grew up with some of these things around me in the South. Like, I don't think my mom had this, but I mean, it didn't look foreign to me. It looked like very familiar. It's kind of a Southern looking thing. So we begin with the adorable Carrie Preston. And she is, she's got this, it also cracked me up, the beigeness of this episode. Like, when we look back and like, technically I just forget what things looked like back then, right? I remember living through it. And I remember that sometimes things now seem familiar to back then, but also there's just so much beige. Like it's bad beige too. It's like really down. Like this guy, Jeremy, who's this guy who Cynthia has a crush on, who's been living in England. He only dresses in beige until he gets married and he's wearing a tux. And then the couch that we begin the episode on that Carrie Preston is getting from Miranda, it's like the dullest looking beige thing.
It's so
and
true.
It's a pull-out sofa or whatever. And Carrie's like, nice sofa, but she doesn't look that excited. But I mean, it's really interesting to me. I was unaware of like, at some point we shifted to a more white, kind of modern look, which, I'm down with.
Yeah. I'm ready to say goodbye to beige.
I mean, we really need to say goodbye to beige,
Yeah.
I think,
And now we have the millennial beige is a big home trend that thankfully is going away.
Oh.
But that is another shade of beige.
Oh, no.
And I don't want to do too deep of a dive on beige here, but it's...
Was it like the millennial pink?
Yes.
Like very muted?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Very similar to that.
What's up with that?
I don't know. It's baffling. And but when you rewatch this episode, again, this is 1999, so beige heavy.
It's 1999, you guys.
Yeah.
Is that crazy to say?
Yeah.
I think it's crazy to say. But we were filming this stuff a long time ago, and I think it's really funny when people really want to argue in my comments about different plot points. And I'm like, okay, give us just a little bit of a break. 'Cause it's 1999, and it's interesting to look at.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of different feelings sometimes about it. Like one of my feelings in this, I should go in order, but one of my feelings in this, as a couple times in the second season, I'm like, thank goodness Big is adorable.
Yeah.
And like just as soon as I have that thought, he'll do something super annoying and I'll be like, no. But at this point, at least I'm fluctuating, right? Whereas first season, I was just like, oh no.
Oh,
but now I'm more like, oh, adorable. And then I'm like, oh. But I guess that's how the audience felt at the time.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's how I remember feeling when I...
Really? Okay, great.
So
that's helpful.
I watched the first 4 seasons on DVD, like all at once, kind of. Like I got into it in season 4.
Wow.
And
my first 4 seasons at once.
Yes.
That's amazing.
My stepmom had the DVDs and I watched them all.
Wait, how old are you?
I was like 14.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What did you think? Like women are crazy? Like what did you think?
No, I loved it.
Okay.
I started watching it because I was desperate to see boobs. And I knew that was something.
Did you get enough boobs in the show?
I started watching it because I knew that, it's HBO. The word sex is in the title.
Sure.
I'm going to see boobs here. And then
Got it.
I watched like the second episode and I was like, I can't wait to see what Carrie's up to next. I was like so into.
You got pulled into the plot.
I really did.
That's
like,
adorable.
These professional women living in New York City, dating, navigating so many different parts of life, things that were so different from my life as a 14-year-old living in California.
Yeah.
And I just got so pulled in.
Wow.
But
I love it.
I do remember being annoyed with Big at this point.
No way. Yeah. Fantastic. That's fantastic. That's a great thing to hear. Because some people get very upset with me when I'm annoyed with Big, and I'm like, this is super interesting.
Yeah.
But this is the great thing. It's a fictional situation with fictional characters, which I think people also forget, right?
Yes.
And everyone's allowed to have their own feelings about it, and discuss freely. And I don't judge anybody. Like if you're pro Big, cool.
Yeah.
Be pro Big. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Right? Like if you're pro Aiden, cool. I don't know if anyone is right now, but maybe someone's doing it. I don't know. A lot is going on with Aiden in the current show, but that's okay. We don't have to talk about that right now.
Yes.
All right, here we are. Let's go back to Miranda. She's in this adorable new apartment. She's got adorable Madeline trying to help her. Then, so we discussed this Jeremy guy, and he is living in London, and he seems like a very cool journalist, and he's really cute. So she's kind of excited. He's coming to stay. This is why she got the pull-out sofa, because they've just been friends. But she feels like he's been flirting on the phone. Now, the thing that I found interesting about this episode, and I understand why it's a thematic thing, but it weirdly seems in the beginning that Miranda really wants to get married.
Yes.
Oh, I don't remember this. I was like, what? Since when does Miranda really care so much about getting married?
Yeah.
It's odd.
It's very odd.
Right? But I do think that when people around you all start to get married or all start to have babies, you suddenly feel like, well, why not me? Or should I be doing that? Or what is happening? I think it's like a symptom of kind of like the time of life where this kind of starts to happen. Do you feel that way?
Yes, I completely agree.
Okay. So I think it must be that, because I was like, I don't remember this.
This is so unlike her character, though.
Right? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, and also, because we know what happens later, obviously she wasn't like, oh, yes, Steve, I'm pregnant. Let's get married. She was like, oh, God, all right. But then it worked out. But, then it didn't, as we know, because life is complicated. Okay, so we see Miranda very excited that she's going to have this, guy come who's adorable, going to come from London. And she's very hopeful that it's going to go great. Then we go to Carrie at Biggs. And again, I thought he was super charming. Big is super charming. And she says, can I borrow a toothbrush, which is kind of funny. And he looks at her all silly. And then, he pulls out this adorable little toothbrush head that's pink and gives it to her out of the top of the part that holds his electric toothbrush and gets out a little toothbrush. I don't remember that. I never had one of those. It's very interesting. So she's very excited. It's a little pink toothbrush to go with his little blue toothbrush. And she literally says that she had never felt better about them. I think that this is quoted somewhere in my notes. Is it quoted somewhere in my notes? She basically says, single most encouraging moment so far in our relationship, which is so adorable. And she's happy. And you just want to see Carrie happy.
That's all we want.
Right? And he's cute. He's funny.
It's a cute, big moment.
Right? Yes. He kisses her on the forehead. It's cute as anything. So then we go to Miranda's. Jeremy has arrived. And he basically says, I'm tired of dating. I'm ready to get married. And she looks like kind of excited. It's interesting. And then Madeline arrives with the end table for Miranda. And then Jeremy's like, well, I like that end table. And then the two of them just kind of stare at each other. Miranda's like, we're going to dinner. And he's like, hey, do you want to come? To adorable Carrie Preston, who wouldn't. And she's like, yes. And she kind of bats her eyes. And Miranda looks a little bit perturbed. And I feel for Miranda. I really feel for Miranda at this point. But I do have to say, I don't think Jeremy and Miranda would have worked out anyway.
No.
So it's all very interesting. But anyway, should I go ahead? Yes, we're at the date. Good. They go to a date. It's so sad. Miranda's the third wheel. They're not even looking at her. Carrie Preston's just giggling as her character Madeline. And then Jeremy's just looking at her all moony-eyed. And, then they're like, yeah, go ahead and go home, Miranda. And it's sad. I felt sad. And it starts Miranda saying this thing that I do remember being a bit of an interesting through line with her, where she says she feels like no one sees her. And do you remember later on, she has a thing where she's trying to get the water to turn on in a sink and it won't turn on.
Yes.
And she feels like the water, the sink like activation or whatever, it doesn't see her.
Yes.
It's an interesting Miranda theme. And also the thing that's funny about Miranda, which of course she doesn't know about herself, she's incredibly strong presence. How could you never notice Miranda? You know what I'm saying? It would never happen that you wouldn't notice Miranda, right? But that's not how she feels, which we can all relate to, It's so sweet. So this is her through the whole episode. She's like, no one sees me. It's so sad. Okay, so then cut to, she's throwing Jeremy a party, a going away party, and he says something like, oh, I get the hint, Miranda, ha. And then he says something vaguely like, Madeline must have had a lot to drink because she just said she'd marry me. And everybody's like, yay. And I was like, oh my God, how bizarre. Like the whole thing is so interesting and bizarre. And Miranda does not look happy. So I'm, of course, very excited. Charlotte's very excited. Charlotte is all pro everything to do with marriage. You know what I mean? So then we go outside and we have a scene on the stoop. And I literally thought, am I going to say that we should all be each other's soulmates? Because that's what it looks like, doesn't it?
Yes.
We're in like the same configuration. I feel like maybe Miranda's on the other side of me than when we say we should all be soulmates. Also, I think we're very cold because Cynthia's kind of clinging to me, which is very unusual. Do you know what I mean? Miranda's just having a sensitive episode, okay? Cynthia/Miranda is sitting kind of on my knee, like down one step or two. And she's like on my body and I'm petting her. And then later we walk down the street and hold hands. And I'm like, what's happening? It's so adorable though. And so me and Cynthia, I think, is really what it is. But also I think we're very cold because it's nighttime and it's probably wasn't one of those super hot New York summers like we're having right now. It's a super hot New York summer, but sometimes it wasn't. And we would start filming in February, which I think I've said before. We would begin the season in February because we came on in June. So the first couple episodes, it's literally winter, like nightmare winter New York, but we're in our small dresses anyway. And then, like you can sometimes see we're like, so, and sometimes you can see our breath.
Oh yeah, I have noticed that.
Always a situation, right?
I feel so bad for you guys.
Right, and like how do you fix that?
Yeah.
How do you fix that? There's really no way to fix that. So I think it's one of those, but I don't think it's bitter February. I think it's just chilly summer, right? Yeah. Chilly spring, I guess. Because what is this, episode 7? So it would have been probably June that we were filming this. The trees are in bloom, so it's beautiful, but I think it's cold. So we're on the stoop. We do not say the soulmates thing, but I thought we were going to because it's very beautifully lit, like that scene that's coming in a season or two when we say the soulmates. But it's adorable. So anyway, we're not there yet, though. Are we? No, we're not. We're still in the party. We're in the party. I'm very excited. Oh no, now we go to the stoop, and then we're all mad about the proposal, except for Charlotte, of course. And then we discuss the theme of the episode, which is, do we believe in love at first sight? Which is so great. Mm-hmm. It's a great topic. And of course, Charlotte believes in it. Of course. And I think it's encouraging. Charlotte says, I think it's encouraging. And I agree. And then, of course, Samantha does not agree. Samantha, and I think she's right as well, she believes in lust at first sight. And I think that's a good point. And sometimes you don't know which one. It could seem like lust and it could turn into love or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Right. Do you, Easton, believe in love at first sight?
I do not.
Oh!
I do not believe in love at first sight.
Did you ever?
I don't think I did.
Okay.
No.
Do you feel like this is a male thing or just like a practical thing?
I think it's a practical thing. I believe in lust at first sight.
Sure.
And I think those feelings can be so intense that they sometimes get misinterpreted as love at first sight.
Totally.
If my lovely wife Allison is listening, yes, I knew immediately that I was in love with you from the first moment. But
good.
Yeah, yes.
Good. I'm glad you did.
In that specific case, yes. But I don't, generally as a concept, I don't.
I
like to believe it. Yeah, I like.
It's a nice idea.
It's a nice idea.
It's a very nice idea. And I mean, in my mind, I don't know that it matters if it's lust or love. I think that the danger of believing in love at first sight is that you're somehow always looking for that and you don't think other things are good enough.
Yes.
That would be bad. And I do think that women do that sometimes because we have been kind of fed this thing from film and television, but mostly film, that there is this thing called love at first sight. And so then if, let's say you meet somebody and it's like a slow burn, you might think that that's not good enough, that you need the love at first sight, and that person might be fantastic.
Yes.
Right? So you don't want to be holding up this impossible bar that you're trying to match or meet or whatever, you know, that's the only thing that will do, because that is definitely problematic, right?
Yes.
And so I think it's nice that we have Charlotte, who's on the one side going like, yes, I believe in this. And very soon Trey is going to come, which is kind of like love / whatever you want to call it. I don't think it's lust. I think it's more than that. It's see, I also think that there's just like in my mind, I think I probably do believe in love at first sight. I'm really going to regret saying it, but I have experienced something similar to this, but it wasn't like lust, right? Like I believe fully in love at first sight. Sorry, lust at first sight. See, now I'm turning into Charlotte. I also think that's part of the reason sometimes I can't say the swear words is because we talk about Charlotte and it like starts to overcome me, the Charlotte-ness of it all. I've felt lust, you know, when you see someone, because it's like a visual thing, lust, right?
Yeah.
But then I met someone one time, quite some time ago, and it wasn't like lust. It was more odd, like just like a pull towards that person, but not like a lust. Like I just wanted to be near that person. I didn't want to walk away from that person.
Is it like you start imagining like, oh, what would it be like if we got married? What would it be like if we had kids? Nothing like
no,
I'm
not like that.
Those don't flash in your mind?
No, I'm not like that. I'm not like Charlotte at all. Like literally at all. No, not like that at all. No, more like the sun shined brighter.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? Like this person just had like this energy that I just was drawn to from the moment I met him in a parking lot, where I just wanted to be with him and do whatever he said. He was in charge of this situation that I met him in, and my team was with me. Amy was there, and they were looking at me like, what? Who are you? Like, what is happening? Because I was just like, okay. Like, whatever he said, I was like, yes. Okay. You know, we're just like, that's not the Kristin that we know. And I just was very drawn, you know, to him. It wasn't lustful. It was more just like, I just want to be there where he is and just look at him and listen to him. Just sit there and feel the energy. Do you know what I mean? It radiates from him. And then time went on. I was friendly with him. I was not involved with him for quite some time. And we would text professionally. And one time in the wee hours, one night filming, I was with Sarah Jessica. And it was later, sometime, possibly a movie. And it was the wee hours. We're on the corner outside somewhere. And this person texted me, and see the smile on your face. I was smiling, texting, you know, and you're smiling, texting. And so Jessica was like, what is this? What is this? And I was like, oh no, I've been caught. And I was like, it's nothing. I don't even know this person's situation. I just know this person professionally. And she was like, well, tell me more. And I was like, I can't, you know, and, you know, I can't lie to Sarah Jessica. It's impossible, right? So then I was like, you know, it's just me. It's not him. It's just me. I don't know, you know, how he feels. We just have this professional relationship. I don't want to ruin it, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, well, you know, let me ruin it for you. And I'm like, oh God. Anyway, that's my story. I'm not going to tell the rest of it. But I do believe when I look back on that it was pretty close to love at first sight.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, it was good.
See,
it was good.
It's possible.
I do think it's possible.
Yes.
I mean, look, I also feel like, what if situations were different? You know, I could have just kept it in my mind as like a good feeling. You know what I'm saying? But it was pretty powerful, and it did last for quite so many years. But it didn't ultimately like work out. I think that's the problem, is if you think that means it's going to all work out, that's a problem.
Yes.
Because that does not mean it's all going to work out.
No.
Sadly.
Those feelings can happen.
Yes.
But you're not going to ride off into the sunset together like Prince Charming, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Damn it.
If
Yes.
only.
I know.
Yeah.
Right? Yes. Okay. Let's get back to the episode. That was our deep personal conversation of the episode. Now, here we go. Okay. So then this is kind of funny. And this was the storyline that you remembered from the episode. So a handsome man walks up while we're all on the stoop and basically kind of flirts with Samantha roughly and says like, are you leaving? Are you guys going back in? And she says, well, I left the party because there were no handsome single men there. Obviously, this guy is a handsome single man. And so she gets all interested and basically leaves. And Miranda says, oh, I get it. My apartment is going to be lucky for everybody but me, which is so sad. And also very Miranda, right? Very Miranda. And then she complains that she's invisible at her own apartment because when they try to go back in the apartment, the doorman doesn't recognize her, which really hurts. Oh, my gosh. So then we go to Carrie's apartment. Carrie goes home from this party. This is what I love about the episode. This event of these two falling in love so quickly and getting engaged so quickly stirs all of us up in different ways. And I do find that very relatable because sometimes you can just be fine. You think you're fine. You think everything's fine in your life. And then something happens to one of your friends and it makes you doubt everything about your life.
Yes,
right?
Completely. A marriage, a baby, a new job, just something happens and it shakes up everybody's confidence.
Right. And you think like, am I doing the wrong thing? Am I not where I should be? Should I be further along? So I think for Carrie, she gets home and she feels like I need to call Big. Even though the last time we saw her with Big, she's the happiest she's ever been with Big.
Yes.
Right? The most settled or whatever you want to say, like the most encouraged. I believe that's the word she used. So she goes home, she calls Big. He answers on his cute landline by his bed. He's asleep. It's all very funny and adorable and old fashioned. And she basically asks him if he believes in love at first sight. And of course he says no because he's big and he's a guy. I mean, I need to know if there are any men listening, if you guys believe in love at first sight, because I don't know any men who would probably be like, yes, I believe in love, except for possibly Matthew Broderick, because Matthew Broderick tells a very adorable story about seeing Sarah Jessica for the first time walking down the street towards him, and that he thought, yes, that's it.
I love them so much.
Right?
I love hearing those
Isn't
stories.
that not so adorable?
Wow.
And thank God he's on the record talking about this so that I can talk about it as well. Anyway. Back to Carrie and Big. So she calls him and she basically says, that she's shocked that they got engaged so quickly. And then he says something like, what's so surprising about that or whatever. He's so weird, Big. And then he asks her what she's wearing, which for me, I'm like, yes, Big. And then I'm like, no, Big. Because he does it with such a ick sound like, what are you wearing? I know. That was very good, Easton. But yes, I'm just like, oh, Big, why do you have to ruin things like this? So then she's like, no, I'm wearing a tube top. I don't know, denim. And he's like, oh, and you can tell he's making fun of her a little bit. I didn't like that. Then Carrie starts to wonder, because she's writing and because she's Carrie, she wonders, in a city as cynical as New York, is it still possible to believe in love at first sight? And that's great. It's so great. And then we cut to this dude on the street. We have a montage of people talking to the camera, which crazy. I didn't even think we were still doing this.
Yeah, this is a nice, an interesting return to
right.
season
I mean,
one.
did you like it? You liked it?
I thought it was fun because
cool.
Like people talk about this all the time, but like when you watch the whole show and then you go back to season one, you're like, oh yeah, they used to do this talking head thing.
Oh yeah. It's intense. Well, we also used to do a lot more of it. This I liked because it was fewer people and it was a little bit more in depth.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like they say more sentences, which is great. So a guy says, love at first sight is for Carmen Electra and Dennis Rodman. Too flaky for New York. Hysterical.
In case you're wondering when this was made.
Totally. I don't know if people know who these people are, but at the time, Dennis Rodman was playing, I believe, for the Lakers.
Or the Bulls?
Maybe the Bulls.
Yeah.
Ooh, Easton knows the basketball. And Carmen Electra, I don't remember how come we came to know Carmen Electra, but I feel like she was everywhere. She's a very nice person, very beautiful. She was just everywhere in the 90s.
I believe I had a poster of her on my wall as I watched this episode for the first time.
That's adorable. Anyway, they got in love and I guess had love at first sight and I think got married. I don't really remember all of it, but I think it was dramatic.
They were the it couple for a while.
They were the it couple, you guys. Oh my God. Kind of like Timothy and Kylie.
Yes.
But older.
Yes.
But hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, he got me reminiscing. Okay, I'm back. So Carrie's got her question, her single question. Now, oh my gosh. And a woman says, how can you believe in love at first sight when people jerk off on you in the subway? It really made me laugh because every woman I know, and I don't know if this is still true. So anyone, please, who has anything to say about this, come on the Instagram and tell me. This used to very much happen very frequently in the subways. Like, I don't know anyone who hasn't had someone expose themselves to them on the subway.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
I do feel, I have a vague sense that it's less happening now, but I really could be wrong. But I remember that, this is when I was living in Hoboken, so I think for me it was on the PATH train, okay? But also people I think it was probably both, to tell you the truth. I remember never seeing cops in the subway back then. And now I think there's very much a cop presence, a police presence in the subways, like not necessarily in the cars, but on
the stations.
Yeah. But it would be late at night. If you had to take a subway somewhere late at night, there would be some questionable drunk person who would be doing some questionable things involving their private parts. And you would just try to exit as soon as you can and potentially to a different car and try to find some people so that you weren't alone, because it was It's scary. But this was pretty common thing. So that made me laugh. We're at the planning meeting where Carrie has to go to poor Matt. She says, when someone's getting married in a month, you don't have a choice but to see them at their wedding planning session. So she's at the plaza and they're planning, and she's talking about how all the bridesmaids will carry different flowers, and all of them, we find out later from Charlotte, get to pick their own dresses, which is very cool. And I think also kind of a harbinger of what's to come in terms of when Charlotte does finally get herself a wedding, and she makes Carrie wear a very beige dress, I might add. Charlotte is part of the beige problem, you guys. And as I have previously said, that Sarah Jessica's still mad at me about this, which is of course not true, and I was kidding. To all the people who wrote headlines about that, she is not, in fact, still mad at me about this, though at the time she was displeased because she wanted to wear something cooler. And look, she's right. I made them all wear like champagne color things. Not everybody looks good in this. Yeah. What a crazy thought. And I also think Pat Field was like, oh, it is very boring, but that is what Charlotte would want, right? But Madeline is in some ways much cooler than Charlotte. She's got one bridesmaid carrying Gerber daisies, which is hysterical, right? So that made me laugh. Then we go out to lunch. Now, we still don't have the coffee shop set, but this is a set with these wood slats behind it that I think we would carry around and use, like if we had a restaurant that we had the location of for one day or whatever it was, we would dress it differently to pretend it's two different restaurants.
Wow.
Right? Yeah, because we didn't have the budget, and we didn't have the, like we had to film so quickly at this point that, like, let's say we would use it for another restaurant. We would also film simultaneously, as we were talking about earlier. So this director, Victoria Hopberg, was doing 2 episodes at once. That was the only way we could get these locations, is to cross-board it, right?
Okay.
So that's also why sometimes as an actor, like this last season of And Just Like That, we did not film in order of the episodes because Michael Patrick directed the first 2, which means he does pre-production, production, then post-production. Then he directed after that, but someone directed in between. But then in reality, when you're watching the show, he directed 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then as an actor, you have to remember, wait, what do I know now? What do I not know now? Okay. Where am I emotionally now? What has already happened? What hasn't happened? But we've always had a little of that because we've always had 2 at once.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it gets way messed up.
This is a naive thing. Every time I see you guys like in a restaurant or a coffee shop or something, I assumed you were on location somewhere and like you shut a restaurant down and filmed in there. And
I think back then we are because we don't have our set built yet.
Okay.
But eventually we build a coffee shop at Silver Cup, which was the studio that we filmed all of the show at. And the reason that it was great was because as time went on, we got more days to film. We got a bigger budget and more days to film. And the coffee shop would be an entire 18-hour day.
Wow.
Yes. It wasn't always our favorite day. Because It's a challenging thing, those scenes. You
Yeah.
have a lot of dialogue depending on your storyline that time. And you have to keep it snappy. You got to keep it moving, right? There's always a lot of props involved. There's waiters, there's food, there's eating. You have to match your continuity to the eating. You have to, please the director, right? Meaning, faster, funnier, whatever it is that they want, right? But the good thing of building the set was that we could light it beautifully. So by the end of the show, it was like this white capsule. It looked like a space station. We would have white sheets on the floor. We would have white on the table because it reflects up at you. We would have just surrounded by lights. Like it was so gorgeous. But in the early days, we didn't have that much light. And at a certain point, we all started learning about light. And we would do this thing, when you're working, you get like a tiny little half a page that's the sides. We call them the sides. And that's what you're filming that day. So in the olden days, it would be kind of thick. The sides would be thick, right? We'd have a lot of pages to do. And let's say that you got to a setting and you didn't necessarily feel like there was enough light. Occasionally, a few of us, I don't want to name the other person, we would take our sides and we would just hold it under our face and just be like, Anybody paying attention? Anyone paying attention to how good this bounce looks? So that was our little trick we did. And then now we just say like, hey, could I get some bounce? Yeah. Could I get some fill? Could we move this light? Whatever. But our crew obviously knows what we like anyway. But if we're in a different situation, we would do that. Okay. So we're at the out to lunch, as we say in our thing, out to lunch. Oh, this is so good. So Carrie tells us all that she has to write a poem for Madeline. Yes. I love this poem so much. And I had totally forgotten about this whole thing. I mean, this is when I started having like not flashback, because I was watching the beginning of the episode and I was like, I don't think this is the one that I'm thinking. Is there a different wedding that happens at the plaza? And then I'm like, no, it's totally the one I'm thinking. So then Samantha tells us the sad news that she figured out in the middle of having sex with the dude that she met on the stoop that she had previously had sex with him. And she calls it a deja fuck, which is pretty funny. But then Charlotte, I say, how could you possibly forget? And then I think Carrie says it. Dorothy, I don't think we're in single digits or whatever. Is that right?
We're not in single digits anymore.
Thank you so much. I got it right. Yes. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny and pretty good. And then doesn't Charlotte say she keeps a list?
Yes.
Which is so Charlotte.
So
it's very
Charlotte.
adorable, very adorable. And then Samantha's just like, ugh. But it's also funny to me that Samantha is so disturbed by this. Like, what's the big deal? But then she does say to the guy, like, why didn't you tell me? And he said, I thought you were just playing the sexy stranger game, which is kind of funny, right? Like, I thought it was kind of charming. Yeah. But I guess for Samantha, she doesn't like that. I don't know why, though. Why does she care? I don't know. It was interesting. So then I tell them all that I'm very excited about my bridesmaid's dress that is black satin and backless. And I pound my fist on the table and I say, this time people are going to look at me, which is really funny. And I didn't remember this at all.
Wow.
But I like that Charlotte is feeling more confident. And I do remember the stress about this dress and the kind of like, consternation from Pat about like, what would she wear? But Pat really did want to break Charlotte out because at this point also, we haven't really got the budget going on, So like, I think at one point in the beginning, I'm wearing some like department store suit. I don't know what the heck I'm wearing, right? Like, I don't remember these clothes. I didn't keep these clothes. I don't know what they are. You can definitely tell we don't have our budget yet. But then if there was a big scene coming, like the wedding, that's when Pat would be like, we have to get something fabulous for them to wear. And I remember this dress is by Anna Molinari, the dress that I wear, which also is who Sarah Jessica wore to our first Emmys. It's a beautiful yellow, very much would be in today. I don't know if she still has it in storage. She could go get it and wear it today and be at the talk of the town in the butter yellow, situation. Beautiful sequined dress she wore to our very first Emmys, which would have been the next year. That was third season that we got nominated. And Anna Molinari is kind of a very cool designer who's not discussed very much. And I think like wrongly not discussed very much, but I also don't think making clothes still, possibly. So I got this very cool Anna Molinari dress. And I believe I'm wearing Pat Field's own Gucci shoes that had a metal heel, which I think has now come back. And I remember they were incredibly painful because you're walking on like a metal, rod basically under your foot.
It looks so cool, but
totally. It looks so cool. I know, but we didn't care at that point. We didn't care at all. And I think I was also very excited to wear this dress because I did feel good in it, which was nice. Like it was much more, I felt like I was one of them. You know what I mean? Like I got to wear a cool outfit, which was super exciting. Okay, now we go. Wait, is this when Big shows up? Oh no, this is when they're in bed. And Big is making fun of Carrie that she's trying to write the poem and he's talking about, rhyming words and really making fun of her. And then she goes, oh, what do you care? You're not going to be there. And he goes, oh, yes, I am. And you're like, oh, Big wants to go to the wedding. What a shock. And you kind of have some hope. It's like such those moments where you're like up, down, up, down, up, down. So then she seems to think that this might be good, that he wants to go to the wedding with her. Then we cut to him arriving and wow, he looks incredible. And all I could think about was the wedding in the first movie. Mm-hmm. It's so charged. And that's one of the things I love so much about rewatching the show is you forget all of the moments and where they end up going and how we know about where they end up going. You know what I'm saying? It's super interesting and really makes me feel good about the complexities, of the show and the movies and the new show and the relationships and all of the details, So they kind of pan up Big in his tux looking fantastic. And Carrie, was like, wow. And then you're having this moment of wow, right? And then she walks into her apartment. She's not quite ready. And she's wearing a fantastic Donna Karan dress. I also think this might be her own dress. I could check. Maybe we could have afforded a Donna Karan dress. I'm not sure. And apparently she's wearing flats, which honestly, I didn't even really notice. But possibly she's wearing flats. I don't know. She goes in and she says, you didn't sign the card, like super casual. And he's like, well, why would I sign the card? And she goes, oh, because your name was on the invitation. And he goes, well, why would my name be on the invitation? Who gave them my name? And you can tell 100% she's lying when she's like, well, I don't know. She kind of hems and haws. And I just feel so bad for her. Like it's not good. So after the wonderful moment of seeing him in the tux, now you're like, ugh, right? Like he doesn't want his name on the invitation. Yeah. Boo. And boo and boo. Boo, boo, boo. So I feel for her. All right. They go to the wedding. And now, first of all, Samantha looks incredible. She's wearing this very like Rita Hayworth type 40s dress in this beautiful color. And her hair, oh my God, everything about how she looks I thought was incredible. And you could tell that Pat really was like, this is what we're going to do. Pat was always into the, kind of movie star from the 40s hair. And poor Miranda has to be in charge of the guest book. Oh God. And then Samantha looks down at the guest book and realizes that her rerun is here and runs off. And I'm like, this is so not Samantha. Yes. I think the wedding just brings out weirdness in everyone, everyone. So, and we're in like the weird part of the plaza, like with the staircase and stuff. I'm like, what part of the plaza is this? It's really interesting and odd. Carrie tells Miranda that she's unhappy about Big not wanting to sign the card, which I get. Then I come in my very cool dress. And then I meet this guy, Martin. I meet him like halfway through the episode at least, right? And just like that other weird time that I meet someone like halfway through and then I'm dating them by the end of the episode, like Charlotte moves so fast sometimes. Yeah. It's crazy. So I was like, wait, I meet a guy. I don't remember this part. And he's very nice. He seems very nice in the beginning, especially. And I'm like, weird. Okay, interesting. I don't remember this. So I do remember the dress. I remember the shoes, but I don't remember the guy. Then we were in the wedding. Luckily, we do not have to see the wedding. Thank God. We're in the reception and there's a lot of flowers. Now, this is what's funny to me. I have a very visual memory and I remember what it was like, at least what I thought it was like. And this makes me doubt my very visual memory because when I watch the episode, it looks super different. But we all know that when you film, you only film certain parts a certain way. You can only get the camera in certain parts. So my viewpoint might be very different than what you guys would see, right? But I remember that there's a big ballroom, but it doesn't look at all like there's a big ballroom, though there are a lot of people in there, right? Yeah. So maybe I feel like we had different corners of the big ballroom set up in different ways.
Oh, okay.
You
That
know,
makes
to
sense.
try to
Yeah.
make use of it, right? So like we've got the bride and groom behind this, like basically just like a wall of flowers, like
Yeah.
up kind of high behind like a wall of flowers. And then there's like a little stage area where Carrie reads her poem, and she's
Yeah.
so good in the scene. And in the middle of it, she looks over and Big's phone is ringing and he's answering it. And he gets up and leaves. And then she gets all teary reading the poem about love and has to try to play it off that it's for the bride and groom, which is just so heartbreaking and sad. And in her mind, which she says later, she's thinking he doesn't even care. He doesn't even care. You know, he's here, but he doesn't care, which is just an awful feeling. Doesn't want
After
to be
he
on
wanted to come. You
right.
know,
He
it's just
wanted to come, but he didn't want to be on the invite. Then he's sitting there. Then he gets up and leaves. Like he's just so much mixed messages. It's just awful. And she deserves better, as we know. But there you go. Then this is what's adorable to me and what is so great about Sarah Jessica and her smartness about how to play things. She goes back. You see her tears. You as the audience knows why she's having those tears. He's gone. He comes back and he's like, what did I miss? And she goes, my poem. And then very sweetly, they start playing a slow song. And she says like, hey, you know, how about a slow dance? Like with so much charm and like wit. You know what I'm saying? Like she is so agile in terms of like, I can recover. I'm going to recover and try to, you know, remedy this. I'm going to try to repair, right? Let's have a slow dance.
Yeah.
And then he's like, no, or whatever he says, which is just so annoying. And also it reminds me, wasn't it 2 episodes ago that they slow dance at the end and you're like, yes.
Yes.
And so what is wrong with him?
And that's why this is why I like Big, because he's so hard to feel one way or another, at least for me.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause I'm like, oh, he can be in this episode, Jess, he can be so sweet. He can be so terrible. And he's not one thing.
That's true.
And that makes him a very interesting character.
No joke.
But-
and that's why she's also really interesting with him.
Yes.
You know, to see how she can kind of recover but also you feel for her that she has to work that hard.
Yeah.
But also she's just so good. You know what I mean? And he's so good. They're so good, obviously, together. But you're right. It holds our interest as an audience.
Yeah.
Because you
as
don't
frustrating
know.
as it can be.
Right. It can be frustrating, but why? How else would it have lasted as long?
Exactly.
You know, yeah, totally. Yeah. Okay. So then we cut to poor Miranda, who has to take the gifts to the van. Horrible job. And this is when I have a lot of memories about this section of the thing. Well, actually, no, there's one more part that I don't have any memory of at all, which is that me and this dude weirdly go up to the bridal suite and we take silly string. Okay, what? Have you ever heard of this? Anyone in this room? Silly string on the bed of the bride and groom? Anyone? Yes?
I've never heard of this happening.
I don't know. It's like Halloween when you're 10. What is happening? Yeah. The rose petals that Charlotte brings. Yes.
Yes.
Also weird that this is our job, but okay. But the dude has silly string and is spraying it. And apparently it's romantic to Charlotte. Though the rose petals, I think, are romantic to Charlotte, because you remember when I get married, we're in a sea of rose petals walking out of the church. But so we go up with the silly string. Again, I don't know where this came from. Anyone, please tell me if they've ever heard of this in the comments, because I've never heard of this. But what do I know? So we've got silly string. We've got rose petals. We go up. We end up having sex. Oh, my God. Charlotte. Insane. And then my hair is not even in that pretty bun that it was in. It's in like a wacky ponytail. And I'm somehow still going to go back down there, which is super fascinating. Like, Charlotte is interestingly game.
Yeah.
You know? It's weird.
The romance of the wedding is just, she's caught up in it.
Totally. 100%. Everybody's in their own place. Yeah. The wedding throws everyone into their own place. And Charlotte, but the thing that's scary is she's really thinking this could be the guy. Yeah. Like, what the heck? Oh my God, Charlotte, get a grip. So then we have sex on their bed, which is also gross. I'm sorry. I had so many thoughts. And also no memory. I have no memory. I had to tell my daughter I was watching this before she was going to bed. And I was like, I was watching myself kiss some guy. I don't remember. Like, what a weird job I have. Okay. Yeah. And I remember back in the day, there'd be like one a week. like a new guy every week I had to kiss. What on earth? Weird.
The weirdest job you could possibly have is
Right?
doing this.
I mean, it's not the hardest job. Like there's a million jobs that are harder. It's just
so strange.
Odd. And then when people are like, I can't believe those people had an affair. Well, people have affairs because you break down all these normal boundaries that you would normally be having. It makes everything easier. Though, of course, I don't even remember this guy. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No reflection on you. A reflection of the fact that the 24-hour day that I'm talking about is this day. It is in the plaza. So basically, we've got the plaza. I don't think we had it probably for as many days as we needed it because we couldn't afford it. And also probably it was overly ambitious. That was the whole narrative of everything to do with Sex and the City, the movies, the show, and Done Just Like That were always overly ambitious. We write too much. We have too much going on to ever fit into an episode or to even be filmable. Like we still go through this. We're like, at the end, we call it the boneyard. We've got like a big fat schedule with all the scenes. And then at the end, it says to be scheduled. And there's a bunch of scenes where you're like, who's going to cut them? Who's going to break it to Michael Patrick King that we cannot film these scenes? No one, everyone's like, we'll do it, Michael. We're going to find a way. We're going to find a way. And sometimes miraculously we do, but sometimes just something's got to get cut, but no one wants to cut anything ever, right? So it's a situation. But back then this was true as well. So we've got the plaza. We've got it. It's an expensive location. They got rooms for the actors upstairs.
Oh,
so
awesome.
we would go upstairs and we would go to sleep and or get our makeup touched up, right? That's how many nights we filmed overnight, like maybe 2-3 nights. I can't remember how many days we were there. But the final day is the 24-hour day. Our crew, God bless them, did not have rooms upstairs because we could not afford that. So by the end of the wedding for Charlotte, this was the final scene that we filmed at the plaza was when I danced with the guy's dad. So we have sex upstairs. We walk downstairs. The voiceover says, and then the wonderful thing for Charlotte happened where he said, do you want to meet my parents? And she's like, yes. And she's thinking like, this is it. And she meets mom and dad of the groomsman, whatever his name is. And the dad says, let's have a dance.
It's Martin is the character. Yes.
Is the character. Got it. Martin's parents. So then the final scene that was filmed of this whole wedding sequence was me dancing with the dad at the wedding. And the director is, first of all, everyone's delirious. My point of view is that, number one, I have to dance with this older man who is going to feel my butt, which I'm mortified about, okay? Number two, everyone is beyond exhausted. It's the final thing. When I look out towards, the camera, all I can see is a row of crew members sleeping on the bottom of this, like, how you'd have like a half wall that would go around a dance floor?
Yes.
It's like a half wall. And so the camera can't see them, obviously, but they've just passed out. So there's just a row of sad crew members sleeping on the floor that I'm just like, God bless them. God bless them. They just couldn't stay up anymore. Like 24 hours. It's crazy.
Yeah, that
right?
is so brutal.
And we're delirious. And the Victoria director is just yelling at this man. She's far away across the room. And I feel like she might have had a bullhorn. And she's like,
I was going to ask that.
Harder, bigger, grab her ass. And I'm just like, God, the humiliation factor. God, it's so high. And there's like close up of him grabbing my butt. How embarrassing. So then I'm mad. And you can see when I tell the dude, because right after that, he cuts in. And I'm like, your dad just made a pass at me. And that's my real mad face. As you know, who, if you watch the show and the movies, my real mad face. I am mad because I'm mad that I had to do it. I'm mad that this man had to grab my butt. It's like mortifying, Ooh. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I remember. And I remember thinking like, man, we got a crazy show. A crazy show. Up all night long for 24 hours trying to make this craziness. Wow.
And this is how we wrap it up.
This is how we wrapped it up,
Bigger grab.
Exactly. That was a polite way of saying it. I also remember that Chris had gone out that night because he didn't think they were going to get to the scene of he and Carrie when he says, "What's wrong?" Right? Now, the funny thing is that in my mind, I remember that scene as them breaking up. Yeah. I don't know why I remember that because they walk off together. They do not break up. But in my mind, it was like a big come to Jesus moment between Big and Carrie. But I think that's because I was so, related to her and what she was going through, and that he didn't even watch her read her poem that she wrote. Like, that was so awful, right? Yeah. And they don't break up, but they do have kind of a come to Jesus moment or whatever, where she's like, "You didn't even care about my poem. Why do you want to be here?" But Chris had gone upstairs. He had gone out, I think, to his restaurant. He had a restaurant at one point. And I think he'd gone out anyway, he'd gone out. He'd come back. He didn't think they were going to get to it. They were like, "We're going to get to it. We are going to get to that scene." And so he went upstairs to his room. He fell asleep. They had to go up and wake him up and be like, "Get down there and do it right now." And he did. And he's really good. You know what I mean? And it's probably 4 or 5 in the morning. I think I got my butt grabbed at like 7 in the morning. Do you know what I mean? Before they kicked us out of there or whatever. Anyway, I digress. So she says to him, Carrie says to Big, "I'm afraid we don't want the same things. I want someone who's going to be with me until the end." And then there's a pause, and she says, "Of the wedding." And I'm just like, oh. But the nice thing is that they are together till the end. It's just his end and not her end. Yeah. It's sad to think about. Do you know what I mean? But it's also really kind of sweet. And then they do leave together, which I totally did not remember. I thought that this was one of the breakups. Do you know what I mean? Yes. It's a very interesting episode. I mean, interesting in so many ways. And I can't wait to see the next one, because at this point I feel like I have my memories, right? And I do remember that people would say to me like, "Oh, the chicken dance, when they throw the bouquet at your feet and none of you pick it up," which is so great. I forgot to talk about that. They throw the bouquet at our feet, and then doesn't Carrie say something like, "Okay, see you guys tomorrow," or something like that, and walks off. And we literally, there's no thought that we would pick it up, which not even Charlotte. Yeah. And also, I'm wearing some guy's jacket, which is weird and mysterious. Whose jacket did I put on? I'm sure it was because I was cold. But it's weird and bizarre. But like, we're so united at that point. We've gone through all of our different feelings. Each 4 of us have had obviously different feelings throughout the course of the wedding, the planning of the wedding, and then the wedding. And now we're all fully united and like, we don't want this. Yeah. Let's go. And I love that so much. And I think that's partly why people remember this one.
Such a great Sex and the City moment, something like that.
It really is. Yeah. And I thought that was earlier and at a different wedding. In my mind, like, because your memory's not going to be accurate, obviously. I remember moments, but I don't remember the entirety, right? And I thought there was another wedding. And I do think there are other weddings coming that aren't mine, I think, right? Yeah. But I mean, I can't wait to see. You guys, I can't wait to see. I don't really know. Thank you so much, Producer Easton.
Oh my God, thank you so much for having me. This is so fun.
It was fun. Thank you for your insights. It's good to have a male perspective.
Oh, anytime you need it, I'm here. But I will only speak if invited to.
You're always invited to. All right. Thanks, you guys. Until next time. Bye. Oh, wait. Have we ever asked Easton if he's a Charlotte? Did we?
I don't
Tell us.
I am definitely a Charlotte.
Yay! Yes. Wait, are you a Charlotte mixed with anyone else?
Yeah, I think that I'm a Charlotte with a Carrie rising.
That's what I would say. That's how I perceive myself as well. Or maybe a Carrie with a Charlotte rising. Yeah. Never sure. Depends on the day, I guess. But yes. Yes. I relate to that, and I dig it.
But I'm not just trying to kiss your ass here, but when I watched the show, Charlotte was my favorite character.
No way.
I identified with her so much because I wanted so many of the same things that Charlotte wanted.
You did?
Yes. Aww. And I loved her. I loved Charlotte. I continue to love Charlotte, and I will always love Charlotte.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I love Charlotte too. I really do. And thank goodness, Yeah. Because it's been a long time playing her, but she's really evolved.
Yes.
I mean, it's interesting to look back. It's really, really interesting. And I love to see like the little moments, like when I pound on the table, because certainly we're way more there now that she's a mom. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I think also Harry has, given her the confidence to be more of herself or whatever, to come out of her shell, I think. Yeah. It's very hard to be objective though, I will say also.
I mean, that's my take on it.
Good. Yes. Good. If you agree, then I feel better.